How's it going, everybody? This is the Uncanny Omar, and to my right is Dom of X. And who are you, sir? Who's Dom
I
of X?
am Dom of X, content creator by the same name, X-Men podcast by the same name. I am the assistant editor of comicreleases.com, your one-stop shop for every single up-to-date collected edition out there that you can find on the market. We got all the release dates, we got all the solicitations publicized, all for you. I'm also the project intern of Near Mint Condition, and thank
Project,
you for
love it,
having me here, Omar.
love it, love it. No, thank you for being here, and big thank you to my buddy James for putting the links there. Now, I've had a lot of people email me today and message me, and I didn't check until early this morning, and people were asking where the DC solicits, and since I didn't get them yesterday, I thought, oh, it'll be next week. No. Some sites got it this morning or yesterday, so I didn't have time to do it. So I emailed my contact over there, and it seems like I don't think he's working there anymore, and I feel like they have a new team that is going to be in charge of this. So I don't know if you're going to be seeing this on. Put it on Patreon on Thursday night and then on Friday morning because I worked out a deal with Hank, but it's I don't know. But I promise I will still be making the video somehow. And today we're doing it live because normally this is pre-recorded. So that's what's going on if you were wondering where this video was. And Dom is kind enough to join me today to talk about some of these books that are coming out, including the big one, which is, of course, the DC versus Marvel and the Amalgam stuff, which it looks like they've added some things. So before we go any further, please don't forget to smash that like button. That is a very small thing you can do, but it goes a long way for us here. So we are doing it live, baby. So thank you all for being here. We're going to be doing this live, which might make it a lot more interesting. I do this for Marvel live, but of course I get those weeks in advance. As a matter of fact, I already have the July stuff for Marvel, but I'm waiting for my friends to get together. And the last Thursday of the month is usually when we do it. But yeah, maybe. Hey, Omnibo, what's up, buddy? Thank you for being here, man. It's happy birthday, Omar, from the other day. Happy birthday to my beautiful fiance today. Just don't tell her I'm up yet. What are you doing up so early? The Distinguished Competition live. That is correct, DC Comics. All I want is a Rucka Wonder Woman omnibus, but I'll settle for a King Batman omnibus. Is that what we're settling for? Always an instigator? I'd love a Rucka omnibus.
Which one?
Oh, the classic stuff. I love the Rebirth era, but the classic stuff to me was so much better.
That's my favorite Wonder Woman, the pre-Infinite Crisis stuff that he wrote.
Oh, so good. Ties in the Sacrifice.
It's by one of my favorite original graphic novels too. Or I don't know what you want to call it. And I can't, it's hard to say the name. It starts with an H. I can't say it, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
Yeah. That one? I got you, buddy. I got you. Man, I forgot to tell Taylor we were going live too. Son of a gun. This is what happens when you do things last minute, but here we are. Let's go ahead and start talking about these books, though. Let me know if that's big enough for everybody. And before the jokes start piling up, there we go. I made it a little bigger for you all. My buddy Chris. Yes, we do need... Chris, wait, are you busy? You are more than welcome to join us on the stream because the more the merrier. This can make we can make a whole party out of this. Omnibo, you too, buddy. The Hikatea. Yes, I think that's how you know, it's funny. Maddie and I reviewed that many years ago with Amanda, and all three of us were trying to decide how to say it before the stream went live because we did not want to seem like idiots. Hikatea. Hikatea. Oh, you're in, buddy. Hold on a second. I'm going to invite my buddy Chris Balga into the stream really quick so he can join us to talk about these DC books, including this omnibus that you're looking at right now. And so how does everybody pronounce it, by the way? I know Dom was having issues. So I'm not going to make him say it again.
Pronunciation is not a strong suit of mine, but I know how to spell everything.
Say, give him 15 minutes. Of course, man. We will be here. I sent you a link on Facebook. Ostringer Suicide Squad and Mike Grell Warlord. Yes, sir. What's popping, everyone? I need a Galactus omnibus. It won't be here, but maybe one day. That doesn't sound right. I pronounce it. It's a masterpiece. It's so good. It's so good. If you haven't had a chance to read it, do yourself a favor and read it. It's To me, it's the best Wonder Woman run, and I love Perez's run. And I still think Perez is a better place to start. But Greg Ruckus is phenomenal. Omar, are you a doctor? Because you make me feel like I have a condition called love. Elon, I like that. That's smooth. All right, Omnibo, I'm sending you a link on Facebook, brother. Started reading Omnibus X-Men for the first time. Danielle, really, what did you start with?
Which one?
For a Flash by Way, Volume 2. Me too, my brother. Me too. What's up? Best way to start the weekend. That's right. And I'm back tomorrow at 11 a.m. if you can't get enough of me or my voice. Loeb's Wonder Woman is the best. That's in my top 3. We finally agree on something. What's up, George? We send Omnibo a link here, and then we can get started when he joins, and then we'll do this with Chris. From the very beginning, X-Men #1 by I have to ask this question. If you're starting X-Men with #1, how is the journey so far? Just out of curiosity. I came really close to texting my buddy Oddfell and Peter and saying, hey, let's get a group of us together to talk about this amazing news about Gail Simone on Uncanny X-Men, Chad McKay on X-Men, and then Eve Ewing is what we know so far, but we saw the lineup of the new books. But then I'm like, we're doing a show next Thursday already. I've got a live show on Sunday. I wasn't expecting this today. What's up, Omnibo? How you doing, buddy?
How are you, boys? Thank you so much for the invite.
Absolutely, dude. Why don't you tell us about yourself and your channel?
I'm Omnibo. Thank you very much. Omnibo here from Aussieverse. We are a humble little YouTube channel that Omar has helped build up, actually, and I'm very grateful for that. We talk all about omnibuses, comics. We've branded it out to some music and a whole wide world of pop culture and all things cool.
And there's a link to the Omnibo channel. These guys y'all were like the biggest rock stars when I had you all at the end of the year video. That was funny.
Thank you so much.
I read volume 1 from issue 12 and a lot, but I like volume 1 from issue 12 on a lot, but I feel like volume 2 is a lot weaker so far. I liked volume 2 when you get to the Roy Thomas and Neil Adams stuff, which is the classic X-Men right before it gets canceled. Can't believe they're reprinting absolute. We're going to talk about that.
Yeah, we're going to talk about that.
Hey, Mongo of Lies. Do you hear about Christopher Priest on X-Force? Me neither, but dare to dream. I would love to see Fabian Nicieza come back. How many? I think I've asked you that before, haven't I?
I can say it, but I think you want me to really put on the accent hardcore. So that's not a knife. This is a knife.
There.
How was that?
That was for you, Elon. That was for you. All right, let me go ahead and share the screen again so we can get started. And there we go. Okay. So, of course, the very first book we're going to be talking about is the DC versus Marvel Omnibus. This is your standard edition cover. There's going to be a direct market cover by superstar artist Jim Lee, yet to be revealed, which probably means he will be sharing it on his social media, which is the way that we found out about the Amalgam. What's up, Scotty? Are you finally getting around to reading X-Men 5? Oh, yes. That's the good stuff. That's the good stuff. That's stuff right before the massacre. So this is collecting Superman versus the Amazing Spider-Man #1, which is, I love that book. The Marvel Treasury edition, which is the Hulk story in there. The DC Special Series #27. Marvel and DC Comics presents the Uncanny X-Men and the New Teen Titans #1. Man, I love that book. Batman and Punisher, Lake of Fire, Punisher and Batman Deadly Nights, Darkseid and Galactus the Hunger, which ties in a little bit to that Elseworld book by John Byrne. It's in the Omnibus. And then we're also getting the Green Lantern, Silver Surfer, Unholy Alliance, Spider-Man and Batman #1, Silver Surfer, Superman #1, Batman and Captain America #1, Daredevil and Batman #1, Batman and Spider-Man 1. Superman, Fantastic Four #1, Incredible Hulk versus Superman #1, and the Batman, Daredevil, King of New York #1. It also includes essays from the original creative teams, an introduction by Paul Levitz, and then an afterword by Ron Mars and Tom Brevoort. This is exciting. So this book has 904 pages, $150.
And I predict
And
just
go ahead.
gangbusters, this one, I'm guessing.
Yeah, this is a huge deal, and I don't know how big the print run is going to be. We've been writing a lot on speculation because a lot of places, even I'm sure Australia, no matter where you are, have already got this book up for pre-order, even though it was not officially solicited until this morning. They were just because they have to, right? Like everybody that is selling comics has to have this book for you to pre-order because everybody else is. But now it is official. Hey, Phil Owens, you just missed this classic. Is that the world's only Ben Reilly fan? It was up for pre-order already in Canada before this. It was up for pre-order everywhere. It was just like, it wasn't in the solicits. So they didn't know like what exactly was going to, so people were just putting it up for pre-order, which I think, sometimes it's a gamble because at any times we've seen in the catalog, could be canceled. And then we're getting the DC versus Marvel, the Amalgam Age Omnibus. You have this cover right here, which is your main cover, and that's the Dave Gibbons cover. And then you have this cover right here, which is the direct market cover, which will be in color when it's all said and done. And that is by, of course, Jim Lee.
My mate reckons, I've got no idea if it's going to happen, but these two wraparound covers could possibly connect.
How would you even put that on your shelf? Who's got that amount of space?
Yeah.
we got to show them with our spines. The only other cover I can think of that connects like that is that cover by
Acts of Vengeance.
Yeah, the Acts of Vengeance by Alan Davis. Like both covers connect. Oh, thank you, Ohio Nightmares. I really appreciate that. I've been watching your binge watching, but wanted to get into comics. You got recommendations, by the way. What made you start this channel? I had a podcast. Before that, I was doing reviews for magazines. Magazines were these physical things that are no longer around, unfortunately. And then marriage, had kids. We took a break and we started doing this again in 2015. And then I decided to focus on collected editions about 5-6 years ago and lost my job in 2020 and kind of started doing this for a living. That's what made me do this. So it's kind of a short version. What comics do I recommend? Uncanny X-Men, New Teen Titans. What else is there? What else is there besides that? So many. What do you like? And then I'll keep looking in the chat. So this is really interesting because they have added a couple of things. So this now collects DC versus Marvel 1-4, which is the series in the 90s. DC Marvel All Access 1-4, Unlimited Access 1-4, Amazon #1, Assassins 1, Bat Thing, Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D., Bullets and Bracelets, Challengers of the Fantastic, Dark Claw Adventures, Doctor Strange Fate, Exciting X-Patrol, Generation Hex, Iron Lantern, JLX Unleashed, Legend of the Dark Claw, Lobo the Duck, Magnetic Men featuring Magneto, Speed Demon, Spider-Boy Team-Up, Super Soldier, Man of War, Thorian of the New Asgards, X-Patrol, and then a story from Green Lantern 87, which makes sense why it's in here. There's an introduction by Ron Mars and Carl Kessel. And then
two intros by Ron Mars.
Afterwards by Mike Carlin and Tom Brevoort. Again, the trading cards. Man, this is crazy. This is everything.
Big.
This is everything. Because in the past, whenever they were omitting some titles, speculation was around why they omitted it. But I remember my contact at DC was like, we don't have everything yet. They were still trying to figure out some things. And I guess they figured it out. But this is everything. This is the entire Amalgam stuff with the exception of the Wildstorm Marvel era.
That is such good news, though.
Yeah, for anybody that was like, I'm not buying it because of those two. I think it was they kept adding things. So the last time we looked, when they were like, this is what's going to be in there finally, they added 2 more issues.
So now you don't have to scoop in your dollar bin and try to find the 2 issues just lying around.
Those books were going to go up. You know how this hobby is. Are these comics good, or is it just that it exists to get people excited? Are they good?
These comics are so good that I made a custom many years ago, and I mean, come on, it's okay. You know what? They might not be the greatest thing ever, but they're definitely nostalgic. And how many times are you ever going to see this in your life, man? So definitely go get it.
I think that, if I'm being honest, they're definitely not good for new readers. They're a product of their time. You're getting like a small taste of what this universe is. No, they're not that good, but oh my God, they're so fun.
I remember being really upset. I remember being really upset that Wolverine got to amalgamate with a cool character, Superman got to amalgamate with a cool character, and so on, and Spider-Man got Superboy.
Superboy was awesome back in the day, though, man. Superboy was awesome.
I can't speak to nostalgic bits because I was not alive for this era.
Thank you for that. No.
You're welcome.
I did my pre-orders with DCBS last month for DC Marvels. Is it because they do distributions for DC? They were able to take orders early. No, anybody can take orders early. It's just that they couldn't order it themselves from the distribution, which is PR agent.
Lunar had them up a month ago.
Yeah, but even they themselves didn't have the information. No, Omar, Superboy Prime is awesome. Superboy Superboy was cool, man. He had a leather jacket and everything. Superboy Prime is even better, though. You're right. I love Superboy Prime. Thank you for the super chat, Bruce. And you have a fan here, Bo. Hi, everybody. I'm Bo's partner. She knows you're up now.
Yes, she does.
She knows you're up. I'm excited for the reprint of JLA Avengers in absolute format, hopefully soon. That's something else they're probably going to have to work out. I think that's actually more of a Marvel thing. See, these books are printed by DC, and that was the other loophole they had to work out, which is really interesting.
Oh,
and gets to print them.
Introduce yourself, Chris. Who are you, buddy?
I'm Chris Balga. I am the host of World's Finest True Believers and the co-host of Marvel Alliance, which you can find both of those on searching for the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network on all podcatchers of choice.
There you go. An all-round good guy, too. It helps.
I try. Thank you.
There is a second Omni with Marvel and DC stories, right? Yeah, we looked at it just a little bit ago, Jacob.
I'm excited to see what that DM cover is going to be. We already see that.
It's going to be some Jim Lee goodness, but it's so hard to pick between that and this classic stuff here.
You can't go wrong with Perez, and that's the difficult part. Is like if you're going with you go with Jim Lee for both, or
because if you get Jim Lee for the DM, then you might as well go for Jim Lee with the other one. We'll come back and talk about these stories, but let's move on to the little Robin graphic novel down here. These are all comics, by the way. That's what we're skipping because they don't curate
Nobody reads those.
These are single issues, and God bless you if you do, because you're part of the reason why we get collected editions. The Marvel curates this stuff for us. DC just kind of sends us the whole thing. There it is. It's this Batman, Robin, and Howard. This is I think it's a digest size book.
It's a digest size. They're cute little graphic novels. DC has their young adult, teenager, kids line, and they pump a lot of these out. Specifically for those specific demographics and audiences, and they're usually well constructed and well made. I've read a whole bunch of them, and there hasn't been one that I didn't hate. I think they're perfect for the audience that they try to get to and encapsulate.
I never thought I'd see somebody put Batman Year 2 and Dark Knight Strikes Again in a sentence. How dare you, Elon? This definitely for kiddos, but I
like the
art. Some of us are kid at heart.
Bad.
Dude, that fix. Okay, I know I don't talk about single issues, but that facsimile edition of Mad Magazine #1, that seems pretty cool.
Yeah, that's actually really cool.
All right, let's get to some collected editions. Batman and Robin, Volume 1, Father and Son. This is coming out in a trade paperback format, part of the Dawn of DC. This has not been previously published in hardcover, has it?
No, this is, well, it just started coming out. This was part of the Dawn of DC initiative where they pretty much relaunched a lot of the core titles of the universe. And now you have Joshua Williamson, who is telling this story of Robin, Damian Wayne, actually going through it as a regular teenager, going to school while still being able to fight crime. In this case, is the White Rabbit and some other villains that also pop up. I'm actually more surprised that they changed the solicitation on this one because it was originally the first 4 issues, because the first 4 issues are the first arc plus the annual, but they're omitting the annual in the solicit in favor for issues 1 through 6.
So I assume with this and a couple of other books that I've seen from the Dawn of DC that they're they're done with hardcovers for Dawn of DC and moving to straight trade paperbacks. But does that also mean that they're done with hardcovers for things like World's Finest and Nightwing?
Well, it's weird too because Poison Ivy Volume 4 is getting both a standard hardcover and a trade paperback that are coming out on the same day.
Now that's in the catalog, right?
Yep.
Not solicited yet. They could change that.
They could change it.
Oh, this is funny enough. Okay, what do you prefer, single issues or collected editions? Well, this is the home of collected editions, so I do prefer collected editions. But you were asking where to start or recommendations for Batman. Okay, how about we each pick a Batman book? I'll let my guest go first. What's a good Batman book to start for somebody new to reading Batman? And then a Venom book. Sure, we can throw Marvel in there too.
Well, for me, it was the New 52. Actually, I didn't read Batman before that, but I fell in love with the Court of Owls, and after that.
Awesome. And what about you, Chris? What's a good Batman book to start?
I would say, just looking back. I would say Snyder's Run would be a good, like you said, Court of Owls is definitely a good place to start. I would say Long Halloween, also a very good place to start.
Mm-hmm. Those are excellent. Dom?
Yeah, so my first Batman book, also one of my first comic books ever, was the Volume 1 of New 52 with Snyder and Capullo and Court of Owls. But I don't think there's any better place to start with than Batman Year One. It encapsulates everything great about the character. It's also a great Jim Gordon story. It's also got perfect art. It's also Year One. I mean, you have to read it. It's the perfect baby's first Batman story.
It's a good answer. My recommendation would be don't buy Batman and get X-Men instead. There's just so much. I'm just kidding. Batman Year One is actually my answer too. I think it is the template for every origin story done right. Venom, I would suggest something like Donny Cates' Venom. Like, don't get me wrong, classic Venom is fun, but I don't think it really got good until Donny Cates' Venom or Agent Venom Omnibus or Venom Omnibus. There's no Agent Venom Omnibus. Agent Venom.
One day.
Like those epic collections. Those are good too. But
yeah, it's hard. It's hard with Venom because, like you said, it kind of you have Lethal Protector, and it goes a couple of arcs where it's not good, and then you get maybe separation anxiety. Then it continues to ebb and flow.
This is a really good suggestion. If you like Batman the Animated Series, the Batman Adventures is an excellent choice. Mm-hmm. And Batman by Paul Dini came really close to being my choice, but I think I have to go with Year One. I mean, that is the right choice. Any other Venom suggestions? Omnibo, you like Spider-Man a little bit, right?
Yeah, well, Venom's my favorite other than Ben Reilly. And look, to be honest with you, I think Chris is pretty accurate. You know, I'm biased and I'll read anything Venom, but for a new person to read it, Donny Cates was one of my favorite runs of all time. So I'd highly recommend that. But is it friendly for a new reader? I'm not too sure, to be honest. I'd have to go back and check. But it is a great run, an absolutely amazing run.
It's definitely closer to something like you've seen in the movie, right? Like where he has that kind of relationship with the symbiote. Like the symbiote talks to him like they're buddies. unlike in the 90s when it was all about the eating people's brains.
Yeah.
Dom, what do you think? Venom. Ben, I read that the same way. I was like, Batman Venom. That's got to be the one.
Oh man, that would be an interesting baby's first Batman book to recommend. I think I'm gonna go the different route. I think I'd recommend Agent Venom to that person. I love I've read the first half of the Rick Remender run, and I've loved what I've read of it so far. It's fun. It's also not incredibly confusing to get into, I'd argue.
It's pretty solid.
Well, there's your answer. Hopefully you will find something out of all that and buy X-Men. Blue Beetle Volume 1, Scarab War. So this is the new Blue Beetle series by Josh.
Spinning out of Blue Beetle Graduation Day, which was, if I recall correctly, the round robins win of a couple of years ago. People got to vote what they wanted to on DC Universe Infinite for a book they wanted, and DC said, hey, let's actually publish an ongoing Jaime Reyes series. It's a whole lot of fun. Love the adventures that Jaime is going on, and if you want a great introduction, easy introduction to the character, you should go pick this volume up.
And are these the ones that were released in Spanish as well?
Yes, they have Spanish variants of this that come out as well with the regular English version. Yeah,
a Spanish trade as well.
There should be
the first trade, the one he was
the first, Graduation Day.
That's cool.
Yeah, that is really cool. This collecting the first 6. Is it 6 issues or is it ongoing?
It's an ongoing.
Oh, good. And then Green Lantern War Journal Volume 1 Contagion. Philip Kennedy Johnson, Montos. The artist collecting backup stories from Green Lantern 1 through 3 and Green Lantern War Journal 1 through 6. And
that was that's also another ongoing. DC thought, hey, it's can we get enough people to also get a John Stewart ongoing, and people love the PKJ run enough to push it through, and that's a full series.
I've enjoyed the kind of backstory of kind of bringing John back into the fold of the core again.
They're fun.
He's a great Lantern. I love that guy. What's up, Omni Nation? How you doing, buddy? He likes your shirt.
It is a cool shirt. Where'd you get it?
Oh, I've had this for years. I think I got it as a gift in college, so I don't even know where it came from again.
So Fire and Ice is collecting Fire and Ice. Welcome to Smallville 1 through 6. Joanne Starr and Natasha Bustos. These two always remind me of the Justice League International, so I'm always happy to see them on a book. So this is another one of the Dawn of DC ongoing, or is this
was a mini series along with Hawkgirl and another title of Cyborg. So those 3 series were short 6-issue series, but just to get to see if DC can say, could we get enough readership to maybe push something more for this? It's only 6 issues, but I did find it, I don't know, it was fun. It was fun. Lobo's in there too, so for the Lobo fans.
Poison Ivy releasing both in hardcover and softcover. You're right. Interesting why they're doing that. G. Willow Wilson, Marcio Takara, but this series blew me away. I'm a big fan of this series. We did an old reader, new reader, and it's hard to write a character that isn't really like an anti-hero, right? Like the Punisher or even Venom these days. Like, she's a true villain, and you have to mix that, like, make you care about the character, but also like, remind you that, she also kills people. So I thought G. Willow Wilson balanced that so perfectly in ways that made me forget for a while, and then I'm like, that's right. It was good. So I can't wait for this volume 3 that collects issues 13 through 18.
G. Willow Wilson, it's already got pedigree right there.
Yeah, but I wasn't a fan of Wonder Woman. Her Wonder Woman, I didn't dig. But Miss Marvel, yes. And in the Invisible Kingdom, I thought was excellent. But I was really excited for her to take over Wonder Woman, and it never clicked with me. But but she's usually a win for me. I really like her stuff, her indie stuff, and her ongoing series. Have you all read it, Dom? Omnibus?
Oh, Poison Ivy is excellent. This was a series that I was not expecting to hit with me at all, but it's incredibly well done. The emotional beats hit super hard. And another one of those. It was supposed to be a short 6-issue series, but everyone's loving it, and I'm glad it's continuing to get support from DC to keep on pushing those issues.
Yeah, it was definitely a surprise. Volume 1. I've just finished Volume 1 a little bit ago, so I was definitely pleasantly surprised out of all the Batman's rogues that gets continuing beyond like your Harley Quinns and anything like that. I was not expecting Poison Ivy to hit as hard as it did, but yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Hey, baby.
Hey, what are you doing?
I saw you messing with my computer. Can you?
Well, the volume's on.
Yeah. Turn it off. You can turn it off.
I can turn it off. What? I can exit StreamYard.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll leave the studio. Goodbye. Look.
Bye, baby.
There's Ryu.
Hey, Mel.
Hey, babies. Okay, my girls are home. Batman Detective Comics Volume 3, Gotham Nocturne, Act 2. This is the Ram V series, 1071 to 1075. And this is another one that is coming out in hardcover and softcover. So some of these are continuing in hardcover and softcover. That's interesting. Okay. Cool. I'm happy that it gives people choices. I thought they had done this in the past. A few years ago, DC had decided to do this, and I thought that's a really cool idea, because most of the time, like in book, just regular books, you get a hardcover, and then 6 months to a year later, you get the softcover version. So
I just hope they continue them, so you're not left with, a series half in hardcover or softcover.
Yeah, that's what they already did that with Superman by Joshua Williamson. Volume 1 got a hardcover, and I believe the rest are going to get softcovers. They're never gonna. It's
heartbreaking.
A shame.
It's like
I agree. That cover is killer. I have not read Ron V's. No, I did. I read Volume 1, but I've read Zdarsky's 1. I think he did 2 volumes. Failsafe with second hardcover. Did that one come out
The
already?
Batman of Gotham.
Yeah, that one. I like that. It's a lot of fun. I like Zdarsky's run a little more. I don't know how do you guys feel?
Rom V, I've now going to wait until it's fine. His run's finally done, because I was not clicking with it, and so I gave it another volume, still wasn't clicking. So I'm just gonna wait till the whole thing's done.
Okay.
I love V Detective. It's hard for me to think about something else at DC that I like more than V Detective, but the slow burn hits super hard. Great will.
Currently?
Oh yeah.
So V Detective to you is the best DC book that they're putting out?
It might be for me, yeah. For me it is.
That's cool. Okay. What about you, Omnibus? Have you read any of that stuff?
All right. So look, disclaimer here. You invited me on the show. Of course, I'm going to say yes, but I'm going to be real with you. I'm a Marvel guy. I only it's just true, man. Like, it's actually.
I invited you on the wrong stream. That stream was in the morning when you were asleep in Australia.
However, this is good for me because, deep down, I'm a big Superman fan. And, we've discussed how expensive things are in Australia. So if I could afford it, I would continue to get a lot of Superman and Batman. But looking at some of these things like the Poison Ivy, I've got to admit, it's going to be hard for me not to go out and grab some of this. And Batman I haven't read in a little while and so forth. But I like to try to stay in the know, obviously, for my own YouTube channel. But yeah, there's a lot of DC that I haven't read in the last year or two.
I think I will agree with Chris, though, on one part, that it will read a lot better as a whole collected, or V stuff anyways, because his run is ending at issue 1089. It might be better to just read it all throughout than to wait, because the slow burn isn't for everyone. I will say that.
I'm good. I really do enjoy slow burns. It's just for some reason I think might have just been too slow for me in this case. Because I do like Rom V on a lot of things, like his Swamp Thing stuff. I loved it absolutely, and that's some of the best Swamp Thing I've read in a while.
But I've heard great things about this one, Superman Lost.
Omar, you're muted.
Oh, I was talking to my wife.
Oh, my bad.
I figured you guys were having a good conversation. DC is back? Question mark. They never went anywhere. They've always been here. What's my favorite comic? Not Trouble. Don't believe that guy's lies. My favorite comic is God Loves, Man Kills. I didn't talk about Superman. Or did you all talk about Superman Lost? Or were you still talking about?
We were talking about V Detective still, I think.
Superman Lost is a book I've been wanting to read because Christopher Priest, when I interviewed him last year, we were talking about this because this is a story he's been wanting to do for a long time. And this collects Superman Lost 1 through 10. And I didn't know that Lee Weeks was also on the art for this. So that's awesome.
Yeah, he fills in for like part of an issue. But it's mostly him and Carlo Pagulayan, obviously from the team of Deathstroke. But man, no, I love Superman Lost. Like for a while, DC had 5 Superman books or books that featured Superman that were just all hitting, and that was one of them. I'm super glad it's finished, and I'll be able to enjoy it in full retrospect when I read it.
Is that coming out in the hardcover?
No, it is a soft cover.
Oh, what a shame.
They gotta put out a deluxe of it at some point.
And it's kind of like how what Priest had said in a lot of different interviews was just saying like, I've always wanted to do Superman, but they won't let me do a mainstream because they don't want me to do what I really want to do. So when they offer him a miniseries to do it, he'll take it because he said, unfortunately, it's the only way I get to do Superman.
Fair enough.
Has anybody read the webtoon Batman Wayne Family Adventures? Because my friend Maddie thinks this is the best thing.
I have it. I have Omar. I've read almost all of the webtoons up on top.
Wait, what do you think of this particular one? First of all, what's your favorite webtoon that DC's putting out?
Vixen is really fun.
Okay.
Vixen and Zatanna, I think, would probably be my 2 favorites that they're spinning out from this. I don't know about if it's the best Batman stuff because I've read a lot of better Batman.
You've read Batman Year 2, but do go on.
I think it's not made for me, but there is a certain type of Batman fan that if you're looking for the wholesomeness of those characters represented, this is the book for you.
Okay. And this is out of continuity for anybody that doesn't know much about DC comics. These were originally web comics and not canon, but just using the characters that you may be familiar with. It's a 6 out of 10 to 10. Yes, sir. This is an interesting surprise, but because DC has a habit, unlike Marvel, of reprinting deluxe editions. But this one is being rebranded as a 20th anniversary deluxe edition. Nightwing Year 1. And it's got 2 covers this time. They're brand new, by the way. They're new covers. One's by Dan Mora, who's the ongoing artist on Nightwing right now, as of now. And the other one is by Scott McDaniel. Because before the cover was designed by Chip Kidd. And I really like that cover. But I guess if you're not going to reprint Batgirl Year 1 Deluxe and Robin Year 1 Deluxe, then you don't need that trade dress. That's not really that important. But it is really cool to see this come back. This is one of my absolute favorite origin stories. It is Scott Beatty and Chuck Dixon teaming up with Scott McDaniel to tell this Year 1 story. Because Chuck Dixon was writing Nightwing during this time. Or actually, no, he had left. And this is set right after the Devin Grayson era. So Devin Grayson took over the book, and then Chuck Dixon came in for 6 issues and gave us the Nightwing Year 1. So we've had a Batman Year 1, and that's what they wanted to focus on, like the Year 1 of these characters. Even though technically in canon, this is still Batman Year 3. No, that was Robin Year 1. Oh my God, this all gets confusing. But it is an awesome story of how he went from Robin to Nightwing. I love it. Throws in Superman, throws in the Titans in there, and it's just such a good story that I'm glad to see it back in print because they are doing a box set of trade paperbacks of Nightwing, Batgirl, and Robin. Yeah.
They're branding it as like a Bat Family box, I think is what it's called.
We need an omnibus of year one, I reckon.
Oh,
That-
but then what would you
There'd
do?
be a
Would you
lot of
throw-
year ones in there, man.
Would you throw Batman year one in there, Aquaman year one, all these year ones? Because remember,
Oh, I
every
mean, the Bat family.
the Bat family year ones.
Yeah.
Huh. That would be cool. I'd be down with that. It's a good one. If you haven't read it, definitely. The price point of this one is $29.99 too.
It's not bad
200
at all.
pages.
That is
For
not
the
too
deluxe
bad
edition? All right.
For all the people who didn't
Oh,
buy
God.
or who didn't get the second omnibus of 100 bullets, you now have compensation for the miniseries that was, for whatever reason, tossed out of that here into this deluxe edition. I remember texting you yesterday, Omar, that they were printing this out. I was like, there's no way that they're doing this right. I guess they are.
So what happened was 100 Bullets has been released. I love 100 Bullets, by the way. I was very excited about the Omnis. It was released in oversized hardcover format. And then they announced the Omnibus, Volume 1, which we kind of figured it was a big book. And then when they announced Volume 2, they said that this was going to be in there. And if you look at Volume 1 and Volume 2, the thickness of Volume 1, because of the page count, is so much bigger than 2. So definitely 2 could have had this in there. It was cataloged that way, and then it showed up in the solicit that way. So people were pre-ordering the book, like stores and stuff. And when I got a copy of it, I noticed that it did not have it. So a lot of people were upset. But this is definitely the other option, because I may have been upset, but I totally will buy this because I'm an idiot. Because I still kept my deluxe editions, because I was like, well, should I keep the Omnis or keep the deluxe editions? They look so good.
Well, Dave Johnson even said that if you still have the deluxe editions, this will line up with the same covers. He did it on purpose.
Well, what about the spine is what I'm wondering.
I don't know about the spine, but he said you line up all the covers. They all kind of flow together still.
Because the spines are like, oh, yeah. Totally with the cover. But the spines have that vertigo.
Yeah. You're not going to get that, unfortunately.
Yeah. And for the Omnibus
Black Label rebrand.
And for the Omnibus collectors, look on the bright side as well. At least it's not what they've done with the boys and Dear Becky, and it's a much smaller.
Oh, the standard size hardcover.
Yeah, so at least it's a deluxe.
So it is $34.99, 216 pages. Brian Azzarello, Eduardo Rizzo coming back to the character of Lono. And I wouldn't look too much after that because they might spoil what happens in 100 Bullets and who survives and who doesn't. Somebody is asking if it's going to be glued binding. It is. Some of them are glued and some of them are sewn, and I don't know. I don't know, honestly, without looking at it. Robin, Tim Drake, Compendium Volume 1. This, let's see. So this collects Batman 455 to 457, 465 to 469, 480, Detective Comics 618 to 621. The first Robin miniseries, 5 issues, and then the Joker's Wild, which is the follow-up, and then the Cry of the Huntress, 6-issue mini, and then the ongoing series, Robin 1 through 5, annuals 1 and 2, Superman 70, Superman and Man of Steel 14, and then stories from Batman 80, Page Giant number 2, and Showcase 93 1 through 6, and 11 through 12. This is exactly the same thing as the first 3 trade paperbacks of Robin. Hopefully they will make more. And I was talking to Dom a little bit about this because we've had. It is really interesting what they're doing, because I'm surprised they're still going through with this instead of rebranding this, or maybe because this is 1,128 pages for $59.99. And it's one that, of course, a lot of us have wanted in omnibus format, but hey, this makes it more affordable for people, and they get to read it for the first time. But what's interesting is that they didn't rebrand this one into a DC's Finest, because we have Catwoman from the same era coming out as a DC's Finest, and we have Batman Year 1 and Year 2 coming out as a DC's Finest. So I wonder why they decided, well, let's just make Robin a compendium and Nightwing a compendium. And I thought if those plans were already in the works, maybe that's why they didn't do. Maybe they were like, we're gonna be a lot pickier with the titles that we make into a DC's finest.
You know, it would have made this cooler if they put on the cover the old Robin moving cover on the front. How cool would that have been on a compendium?
No, for $59? No way, man. That book would have been $100 for a compendium.
It's just sad that, you know, it's what we have to get with this with Nightwing and Robin with the compendiums. Maybe one day we'll get an Omni, but it's just the same thing with Kyle Rayner. You know, it's what we got right now.
Got Starman and Lobo to be coming out soon. It's kind of a shame because it's like you'd probably want it in that larger format.
Those Superman issues weren't in the trades. I think you're right. Yeah. So there's more in this than there is in the trade paperbacks. Thank you for that, MP. I don't know. It's hard to, like, you know, we talk about price and we talk about, you know, things going up, and we have this. This is real. I know it's not an omnibus. I'll say it again. I get it. People are upset about that. But if you look at the price point and the page count, my gosh, that's insane.
It is.
It's almost, oh my gosh, it's almost like 1,128 pages for $60. That is a lot.
Now, how long before that spine cracks on you?
Well, I know. I don't know. I noticed that my Batman Beyond compendium, it seems a little flimsier than like my Milestone compendiums. And I don't know if that's the design or if they went with another printer. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, for new buyers that aren't familiar with compendiums and they're hearing all of this, not the greatest feedback on them. I got to admit, man, like, yeah, obviously we want omnibuses, 100%, but sometimes a compendium is pretty cool too. Like, I've got the Starman, the Milestone, the Incorruptible, the Irredeemable. I've got Spawn collected in compendiums. So if you want a cheaper option and smaller but still quite a big book, they're really not that bad. Obviously, yeah, omnibuses are the way, but compendiums are still pretty good.
So here, and here's an honest question. I'm not making a joke. How many times have you read them? Just out of curiosity. Like,
no, honestly, I've read them once.
Okay, so the spine's still holding up, right?
Yeah,
that's the fear when it comes to a lot of these books that are soft cover. Because if you read them so many times, and I can attest, I don't care how well Dark Horse wants to build a lot of these manga omnibus that are in soft cover, that spine has cracked on me every single time.
Right. Okay. Well,
and you doing an overview of these books, you know, I do let people know I've only read this once, or I've just flipped through it. I haven't done like a thorough read through of everything. I'm wondering how long that can hold. So cheaper, but
the hope is right now though, Omar, because they did Nightwing by Dixon and then Robin by Dixon. Are they going to do Birds of Prey by Dixon and go the compendium route on those, where we're eventually just going to have Gail Simone never come out, or like almost never come out?
That wouldn't make any sense because Gail Simone's have all been released in trade paperback, right?
Yeah, but you need to start with a volume 1, and Simone wasn't there at issue 1. It was Dixon.
They could really tick people off and just do Gail Simone Birds of Prey, and just like
they could
tick
do
people
that
off, you know, and just say this is what you got. I
mean,
I love Gail Simone's
the
run. I mean, I could see them doing that. I mean, DC does make some fun choices for us.
So speaking of interesting choices, Absolute Transmetropolitan Volume 1 is coming out in 2024, or the 2024 edition. This collects Transmetropolitan 1 through 18, the Vertigo Winter's Edge 2, and then Transmetropolitan I Hate It Here. 544 pages, $150, and absolutes are big, right? They're bigger than Omnis. The interesting thing about this is that they've reprinted Volume 1 in 2020. Volume 2 came out last year, and everyone was crossing their fingers for a Volume 3, but they went back to print with a Volume 1. Now, it is out of print. I will say it is out of print, so maybe that's where Okay. Yeah. All right, Justin. I was getting there, buddy. It is out of print, so maybe that's what they were looking at. I don't know. I still have high hopes that they will come out with a volume 3. I don't think they're gonna miss out on it. I mean, that's why we're also doing a most wanted omnibus and absolute reprint poll. Who knows what my contacts will do with that information, but at least they know. At least we did our part of voting for it and letting them know what's out of print.
You'll
And
use
whatever
it
they
as
decide to do with that
your
information
once a
is
year
up to them.
contact. Your once a year, you get him that. You at least
Yeah,
get it
he's
in
been
his
getting
hands.
back to me recently.
Oh,
but it's
wow,
a lot
okay.
of, but it's usually like, not now, not really. Things like that. But
Can't
you know,
confirm.
I get it. People are busy. It's a great series if you haven't had a chance to read.
Yeah, please sell it to me because I've heard of this title for years and years, and I like Warren Ellis a lot. But
Are you a fan of Hunter S. Thompson? Like, you know who that is? Okay. How do I sell this series without going into spoiler territory?
Here, I can sell the series with a story. All right.
Okay.
Patrick Stewart is a huge fan of Transmetropolitan and Warren Ellis, and he met Warren Ellis. Warren Ellis was telling this story at Heroes Con like 10 years ago. And he comes up to him and he says, I love the character of Spider so much. And when I was getting knighted by the Queen, I just kept on thinking, what would Spider do in this situation if he was getting knighted by the Queen? And I had to resist all the urge in the world not to punch the Queen because I didn't want to be taken away. So it's that kind of extreme, kind of in your face.
you had me a character called Spider.
Yep.
Oh yeah, that's the main character.
Yeah.
It's great. And honestly, if you know, I understand people can't separate the artist from the art. So if you have issues with Warren Ellis, this book is not for you. But there were other people also involved in this book, and just always like to throw that out there. Batman by Paul Dini Omnibus 2024 edition.
I didn't realize this was out of print.
My favorite run of Batman is getting a 2024
Great.
edition reprint. Woohoo.
It's great. Okay. It doesn't state what it collects in here because DC sometimes does that, and you have to go and research. So it has Batman 685, Batman Annual number 1, Batman Black and White number 3, Gotham Knights number 14. That's material from, and then Batman Streets of Gotham 1 through 4, 7, 10 through 14, 16 through 21, DCU Holiday Special number 1, Detective Comics 821 to 824, 826 through 828, 831, 833, and 834, 837 to 841, 843 to 850, 852, and the 1000. 1,032 pages, $125. Now, people are probably seeing that it's still in print. Yeah. I will say, maybe it's like Marvel. Maybe they're looking at things from their, like, on their side, right? Because we're looking at things that shops still have. But I don't know if a store can still order this from Lunar or PRH if it's low in stock or anything. So maybe that's why DC decided to go ahead and reprint this. I've seen that happen at Marvel, where we see things that are coming back to print, even though you're still seeing it at a shop somewhere. It could be the case here. Batman versus... Okay, so these were previously released in hardcover, and now they're coming out in softcover. Batman versus Robin. This is the Mark Waid story that spun out of the World's Finest Volume 1. And this collects the 5-issue miniseries. Detective Comics, that's the one that I've read. That's the first one, right?
It is the
By
first Rom V.
Yeah, that was pretty good. 1062 to 1065. I'm digging these covers, though.
Oh, the covers were always awesome about
Evan
Detective.
Cagle has made some of covers that are like, man, that's the cover of the year.
That cover is freaking great. I hope if an omnibus ever comes out.
It has to be the one from the volume that was not this one, but for volume 3. That's the one. It's got to be.
Oh, thank you for asking the right question. Is there much difference between the Dini's omnibus and the Hush omnibus? There's a lot of double dipping. I'm not even gonna lie. Mainly because Paul Dini likes to use the character of Hush, and about a third of the book is double dipping. if you have the Hush Omnibus. But if you like Batman the Animated Series, oh my gosh, the Dini stuff is so good, especially at the beginning when it's just like single issue stories. Or anytime he uses Satana. Love it. And we're also getting Batman Detective Comics Volume 2. So one comes out. Oh, they both come out on the same day. Volume 1 and 2. That's really interesting.
Never-ending options.
1066 to 1070, and then Detective Comics 2022 annual. And $19.99 how much both of these are. One's 232 pages and the other one is 152 pages. And speaking of World's Finest Volume 3 is coming out in trade. Collecting World's Finest 12 through 17.
I've heard that's a pretty solid run.
It's amazing.
Oh, World's Finest was one of my favorite
awesome.
books last year. It's so good. I'm serious. It's so good.
And I think that
So
correct me if I'm wrong, Dom, you might know, is this collects the Visiting to Kingdom Come? Is that
Oh, no. That's
Volume
until
2.
later. Yeah.
Volume 2? Okay.
Volume 2 starts something. Have you read The Kingdom? Mark Waid's The Kingdom?
No, I have. I'm just saying I couldn't remember if this volume
I
collects
actually know.
the revisiting.
So the Return to Kingdom Come is all collected from issues 20 to 24.
Yeah, and he starts building it up in the
yeah.
second
second
story arc.
Gotcha. Yeah.
What is it called? The Strange Visitor, I think.
Strange Visitor, yep.
Yeah, that storyline's what starts building up this like kingdom story. And then this is really interesting that they're reprinting Detective Comics 1000.
They never can stop printing enough of that book, man. They're everywhere.
The deluxe edition. I mean, they did what? They did Action Comics 1000, right? A deluxe edition of that. And they do Aquaman. There was a deluxe edition of Aquaman.
They did a Detective Comics 1027 and made that a deluxe edition because they did another one of those $9.99 100-page super stories.
Okay. So 176 pages. I think this is the same page count as the first printing.
Yes.
Jim Lee, Greg Capullo, Neil Adams, Doug Mankey, Brian Michael Bendis, Kevin Smith, Tom King, and Scott Snyder. So this hasn't been collected in omnibus format. Just material from this has been collected in omnibus format.
Because they're all completely separate stories that have pretty much nothing to do with each other.
Poison Ivy, Volume 2, Unethical Consumption. Great. Oh, that's got one of my favorite moments in DC Comics recently. Issue number 9. Beautiful. Collects Poison Ivy 7 through 12. And then Nightwing is coming out the same day in hardcover and softcover. So they are continuing that. That's cool. Volume 5, Time of the Titans. And this collects 101 and 105, meaning that we'll have one more, right? One more hardcover.
No. Let's see. The third, because after this is the stuff for like Beast World.
Okay, so that will be Volume 6, and then Volume 7 will be the final one, right? With Tom Taylor's final arc. What is it called?
Tom Taylor's, Fallen Sun.
Yeah. Okay. And back to print, Nancy Collins' Swamp Thing, which is really good.
So this is an omnibus that I've got on my shelf that I haven't read yet, and it sits next to the new 52 Swamp Thing that I haven't read yet.
You are an omnibus collector. Welcome to the party, pal.
My question is, which one do I start with? Is it Nancy Collins? Because I've always wanted to get into Swamp Thing because I just know it's a character I really dig.
Well, have you read anything Alan Moore Swamp Thing?
Yeah.
Okay. This one follows up. This one follows up from Alan Moore. And it's a different take. She's a novelist. Nancy Collins is a novelist by trade, and she's very big into Southern Gothic. So I think it's a very underrated run of Swamp Thing, and I was so happy when this came out. I was surprised. I did not think they were going to collect this just because it's got a kind of a quiet following, but I think it brought Swamp Thing to a different level.
I agree.
Good review.
You're going to love it, man. Whenever you decide to read it, and I hope it's soon. You're going to be blown. Yeah, I know you're going to be blown.
So your
away by
arms go up, Dom, when you
Yeah.
it. It's a good run.
I agree with everybody else. It is amazing. I really like it. It is very underrated. She does her own thing, and it's hard to compare anybody to Alan Moore, so don't even try to do that. Just go into it with brand new eyes, because you can't compare any run at Alan Moore.
Was the original Black Label as well? Yeah, it was. Okay. I thought that might have been.
I think it was one of the earlier ones. This is when DC was still sending me books, and it was right before the pandemic. They had sent me a copy of this, an Absolute Day Tripper, and then the world shut down.
Absolute Day Tripper. That's a book I want to get.
Oh, I know. That's a beautiful book. I think
It is
that belongs on everybody's shelf. What is up, Michael Emmett? How are you, dude? 2024 is Batman's 85th. Probably a lot of Batman near Batman Day in September. But that is it for the solicits, and then we'll go back and talk a little bit more about the story, especially the DC versus Marvel, because we had a lot of questions earlier. But before we do, don't forget to check out Walt's Comic Shop. They're out of Berlin, Germany, and they have the cheapest pre-order prices for Marvel and big DC books, especially the DC versus Marvel is going on right now. So if you live there, pre-order them there. Tell them the Near Mint Condition sent you their way at the checkout, all one word, Near Mint Condition. You get free shipping for all EU countries with your first order of over 40 euros or more. And that is waltzcomicshop.com, your reliable source for Omnis and premium collected editions in Europe. Ting. I do not do that as well as my wife, but I am not here for your entertainment. Oh, she'll make up for it tomorrow. All right, let's go back to the beginning and then talk just a little bit about these books, because we had some questions. My copy of Absolute Day Tripper came in the mail today. That is a beautiful, beautiful book. I love that story. No, it's not for everybody, but I love that story.
No, it's beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
That I can't believe we don't have Rick's book.
Yeah, I can't believe it either.
It's been collected in trades. But hasn't been. I can't remember if it's been collected in trades fully. There's a lot of Swamp Thing that's been left out. What do I like more? Absolutes, Omnis? Wow, so many questions. I like Omnis. This is my favorite format. And horror comics, I love them. Can't go wrong. If you want horror comics, you can't go wrong with the EC library. Anything from those books. And Dark Horse has been reprinting them at a more affordable price, but they're soft covers. They're wonderful. DC versus Marvel Omnibus. This is the classic stuff. That's the way you got to separate these, right? This is the classic stuff, the early 80s, and then some of the stuff from the 90s. And then you have the 90s crossover right here.
I had a few people ask me, like, if you had to pick one, which one would it be? And I said, if you probably want... I love the amalgam. I really do. I love the cheese.
It's gonna be the first, right?
It's gonna be the first one, just because of it's one-offs. It's some great one-offs in there, and there's some teams that you never thought would be working together at that point. It's a lot of fun.
I mean, I remember reading Batman and Spider-Man, and that was God, that was so cool, man. When I was younger,
one of my favorites is Batman Captain America.
Yeah.
That's the John Byrne one, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a good one. I mean, I would pick DC versus Marvel Omnibus. I think Amalgam was fun, and we talked about it a little bit earlier. Amalgam is a lot of fun. I think it was missing something really special though that made this so good. I would go with this. I would go with DC versus Marvel. If I had to choose one, and I realize price is also a thing, right? $150 for 904 pages, or $150 for 1,120 pages. So you get more bang for your buck in the Amalgam, but you're getting classic stories. And I'm just to kind of put things into perspective. These books have been out of print for so many years. Oh, wrong one. Out of print for so many years that they go for ridiculous amounts of money. And so I don't know when the next time they're going to reprint this is going to be. I don't know. I seriously doubt Marvel was like, yeah, you guys go ahead and print. anything you want for as long as you want.
And
But that's
why
just my take on it.
And that's just why it's so hard. Like the only book I've ever paid out of print price for is the JLA
Avengers.
Yeah, the absolute, not absolute. And that's just still, I'm still so skeptical on that. It took an act of Congress and literally George Perez dying to even get a trade collection of everything that's in the absolute in a trade collection. You know?
Keenan, what's up, buddy? Yeah, and I think that's one of the things like you have to take into consideration. I don't know how big the print run is going to be. I don't know if they work like Marvel, where Marvel works really close to the pre-order stuff. It doesn't look like it just because there are some books still in print from 2020 and 2019. But
sorry,
I don't know. Keenan, I don't know how long World's Finest is going to be, brother, but I would love an omnibus with Dan Moore's beautiful artwork on that. And also hit me up, man, on Hangouts. What'd you say, Bo?
Oh, I was just going to say, I'd like to know the real story behind how this has come to be one day, because growing up, we had DC versus Marvel quite often. And as we all know, they just disappeared after the arguments for the last, 20, 30 years. Yeah. So to have this back is such a good sign that I'm just hoping that people are now better friends and Marvel and DC can maybe one day work together again and get out some more crossovers that are our time.
And I'll say this, Omnibus. I think the companies themselves, like the people like Jim Lee, Feige, they talk. I think they are fine with each other. Who aren't fine with each other are their lawyers when it comes down to it. You know.
Whenever you're looking at licensed products, it's never the people that made it or the people that they're fans, right? Just like us.
Yeah.
A lot of the people that work at these companies are fans and they want to see the stuff. But unfortunately,
IP, that's
somebody else that is dealing with the IP has to, or somebody that has never opened up a comic book gets the final say, and it breaks my heart. That's all I can say about that.
Like I'm sure there are a lot of people out there that have read What If comics, and every now and then in their life they always think to themselves, "What if I ... What if I took this job? What if I didn't break up with that girl?" One of the thoughts that I've always had is what if Marvel and DC continued to get along? What crossovers would we be getting all of this time? And man, the amount of stuff that we could be doing now, it'd be so cool.
It is. And I don't know, maybe it is. Maybe this is so special because we haven't had anything like this in 30 years, right? And maybe that's why this is regarded as so good and so special. Would I be spending $150 on an omnibus that was coming, like if we had events like every year, right? Like Marvel versus DC, the Krakoa X-Men are meeting whoever the hell, Ice and Fire at DC.
Smallville.
You know, like if that was a thing every year, would I hold that as special as like, damn, do you remember when Marvel and DC got together for that big event in the 90s? No, because you weren't born then, Dom. Well, let me tell you.
I wasn't going to say that for my piece of this, that I've never seen these companies work together. So having them do something like this is pretty cool. But thank you for letting me segue into that. I think is going to be awesome for me to finally see in my lifetime. Hey, DC and Marvel did something together and they put differences aside. And we have these two omnibuses that I'll be picking up just because of it.
It's exciting, and it's still missing one thing though, and that is the very, very first Marvel and DC crossover.
Oh, which one is that? Okay. I was going to say
that was the very, very first Marvel and DC crossover thing. Was the Wizard of Oz. It was published by both companies.
Who controls the Oz? Oz.
I thought it was public domain for a while, but I probably not though. Thank you so much, Bruce, for the super chat. What is my favorite story out of DC versus Marvel? Oh, that's easy. I'm the Uncanny Omar. Give me that Walter Simonson artwork. Oh, I love me some New Teen Titans and X-Men. Throw Darkseid and the Dark Phoenix in the same story? Forget it, man. I love it. Yours is tied between X-Men and Titans. Superman and Hulk. Superman and Hulk is excellent too. Superman and Spidey was good, but I got to go with X-Men Titans. What about you guys? What are some of your favorites from, or like your favorite? If you had to pick one story from this omnibus, what would it be?
Oof, jeez. That is a hard question. Okay, so for me, I think it would be Spider-Man, Batman. I just loved that one. That was it the second time they met or the first time with the embossed cover?
That's definitely the second time.
Yeah. Okay, then the second one, I loved that.
That's the one with Carnage and Joker. That one.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that one's good. I like that one too. It's got beautiful artwork. What about you, Chris?
I can't remember if this is going to be collected. Like I said it earlier, Captain America, Batman, just because I get that moment where Joker realizes that, wait a minute, you're a Nazi?
Oh yeah.
With Red Skull. That moment saying, it reminds me of Rocketeer, in the ending sequence in the gangsters. Wait a minute. You're a Nazi? Yeah, I may be a criminal, but I'm not a fascist at that point. And the Joker basically has the same reaction with the Red Skull. So I'm not sure if that's collected in here, but that is my favorite.
And Dom, have you?
I've read some of these. I have some of these in singles.
What would your favorite be?
Uncanny X-Men New Teen Titans is for sure my favorite. I freaking love that one-off, man, and having the art there and also team ups. Because me, like growing up, I was a Teen Titans, Young Justice fan because those were the shows that I grew up with and like watching as a kid. Mm-hmm. So getting to see some of those characters also interact with the X-Men, it's awesome. I loved it.
When I was a kid, I learned to appreciate artists so much because of this crossover. And that's basically because of Jose Luis Garcia, his cover to here. It's the Batman versus Hulk. And how many times Dick Giuliano asked him to draw the cover over. I was like, oh my God, he's drawing like that's a final ink right there. And he's like, yeah, the foot is just not in the right place. You're gonna have to move the foot back a little bit. Makes him draw the whole thing over again. I was like, man, I hope these guys are paid an arm and a leg to do these stories. But I loved it, man. I thought that was so cool. It made me appreciate the artist so much more. I was really young when I remember seeing that, but yeah, I cannot wait for this omnibus. That's.
I'm still amazed that they're both coming out the same day. I'm waited with bating breath that that's gonna slip.
Yeah. The fact that we've known about it, they've been building it up, and maybe they're giving a window, probably means they are going to come out the same day.
Awesome. The DM's going to be black and white.
What's that?
The DM's going to be black and white.
No way.
No, Alex Sinclair is going to eventually color them at some point.
Cover not final.
Yeah. And Jim Lee's the one who put it out when it finally came out that he was doing it. He said, "Hey, I'm doing the DM. Here's a preview."
God, it's going to be hard to pass up on a Jim Lee. Is it inked by Williams?
It's inked by Scott.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Both of them will be.
Get Alex Sinclair in there. Oh, damn. That's going to be hard to pass up on. Thank you, Daniel, for the super chat. I am only collecting X-Men Omnis at the moment. I have X-Men Omnibus Volume 1 by Lead a Mutant Massacre. Is Dazzler worth getting? How about Wolverine? Wolverine, oh my gosh, yes. If you can find the first book, but I'm pretty sure that will be reprinted eventually. Besides, you want to wait for the reprint so it matches the spines of your other ones if you haven't got it yet. And Dazzler, if my buddy Pete was here, he would tell you absolutely 100%. But he's not here.
While you're at it, he'd say.
I'm not the biggest fan of Dazzler. There are good stories in there, and I know Warren's in the chat. It's something we all disagree on. But I'm not the biggest fan of it. I definitely would recommend Wolverine over Dazzler, but I may be alone because there is a whole look. Dazzler's the only thing to get. I don't understand Warren. He's a conundrum. He hates everything I love.
He loves
but he loves Dazzler. I don't get it.
Are you sure he's not related to Barr?
Oh my God, Omar. I know. Warren, you know this about me. I'm not the biggest fan of the Dazzler comics. I thought they were okay, but oh my gosh, let me tell you, I would never say that on Twitter because those people would destroy me. They have a freaking army of Dazzler heads. Like
Someone
I
who-
didn't know they existed.
As someone who
until-
knows those people, Omar, I can tell you they would destroy you in a hot minute if you say something.
Okay,
I'll tell you else who has got a kind of a secret following on there, and we were wondering when we started Marvel Alliance, we still do it to this day. We do fact or fiction polls, and we just make up stuff in the sense of like, what do we think is going to happen? And for a while there, we started having this Spider-Woman kick, and the trending and the voting was like insane. We got like 1,000 votes from this huge contingent of Spider-Woman fans, and I
like
didn't know
old school Spider-Woman.
Yes, old school Spider-Woman.
I love it. That's awesome. Yeah, but I mean, there's a fan for just about everybody, except slapstick. Nobody likes slapstick. Thank you, Rivy. How are you? A rare moment I'm around for one of your lives. We have Bo, and we have Bo too, sending love. Yeah. Australia represent.
Good to see you.
I'm collecting all the continents. Spider-Woman too. Okay, I kind of figured that. I dig Spider-Woman. My friend said I'm crazy because I'm getting both Lee and Perez covers for DC versus Marvel.
That's dedication.
Look, some people do that, man. Like there's a guy from Australia that's in this Saturday, for us Saturday night chats that comments quite a bit. Michael Tawney, and he's such a 2099 lover that he went and bought every cover or both covers of the Spider-Man 2099 Omnibus just because they had different covers. And more power to you, man. If you've got the money and you want them on your shelf, don't.
Oh yeah. If you've got the money, go for it.
Yeah, go for it at that point. But is there someone in your era that can do customs and he can just save himself and just switch them out?
Yeah.
Custom covers might be a little cheaper.
It's not about switching them out, Chris. It's about putting
true.
both of them up. If you've got that money, you got the room to put both of the covers up at the same time.
How do you think I felt with the new reprints of the Clone Saga and Ben Riley?
You're right.
Covers, man. I'm not going to buy a new omnibus just for the cover, but it was hard.
I don't think I've ever been tempted, honestly, by any omnibus. And I've been collecting these things since just about day one. What was it? There was one that I said, damn, that would be really cool to have both of these. And it was just recently. And it was when I was announcing it. So it had to have been here in the last 5 years. Maybe it was. No, Micronauts was one of them. Micronauts Volume 1 had a couple of covers that I was like, oh.
What's the reprint of the Spider-Man omnibus that's coming out that
Larson?
Now has a Venom cover, though?
So Larson has a Venom. Yeah, Larson has the cover to Venom. And then Boomerang is also on the cover. So they're not using the original cover.
Yeah, exactly. So I've got the original cover, and I saw that new cover, and I just.
That's it. That's the other one too. Okay, so Rom almost had me thinking I'm gonna keep the George Perez one. I think that's a beautiful cover, and I'm also going to keep this other one. And I was like, no, I gotta give some away. So I did, which is like that was a hard giveaway. I love giving things away, but that was a hard giveaway. It's gonna be hard to give away all three of the Micronauts Omnis because Marvel was kind enough to send me 4. But I can only keep one, and each one of them has a different character on the spine. Damn it!
All right, if you could only keep your Omnibus or your Micronauts Volume 1, which one are you keeping?
Micronauts.
Cool.
He didn't even hesitate.
Oh no, he didn't. I already knew what he was gonna say.
Micronauts, dude. Micronauts. Oh
What
my
about you
gosh.
guys?
Never hesitate.
So there's your answer for the. I don't even know why I'm gonna, because every time I do this live for Marvel, I always ask my guests and the people in the chat what they're most excited for. But do I even need to ask?
How about you?
Although it is, I am curious which one you're more leaning towards. So what one book you're more leaning towards, and maybe somebody's like, I don't give a crap about DC versus Marvel. Give me some of that Poison Ivy Volume 4.
There are people out there that don't care, and that's
yeah.
Yep.
Phil, I gotta ask, Phil, you're here, aren't you? Phil Owens, are you excited for DC versus Marvel? I'm gonna pre-order Prelude to the Massacre before I realized the DM covers were a thing, and after seeing the DM covers, I almost double dipped. Speaking of DM covers, I do have an announcement to make sometime. I don't know if David wants me to make a video on it or not, but they've updated the covers, and for my birthday, I talked them into doing one cover for the what was it? Road to Onslaught's not even my favorite era.
I was about to
I
say,
hate
wait a
that
minute,
era.
you talked him into a
hate
cover
that
for one
What?
of your least favorite.
But they had double dipped on a cover, and I'm like,
Oh.
and I heard the kids really like Joe Mad, so you should use this cover. And we went back. It was an awesome conversation. We went back and forth. He's like, really, that one? And I'm like, yeah, but it's a good cover. And he's like, I'm not liking the back. Then he's like, how about I give you the front? And I'm just like, all right, or you could go with this one. And he was like, all right, happy birthday. And I'm like, wait, I didn't know I was gonna get to choose something.
Wait a minute, I don't want to use my birthday wish on that.
Like, I don't even care about that book. Damn it.
You got duped into thinking, man. That's a
Oh, what a bait and
an
switch.
event.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't know that was gonna happen. There's the Robin and Howard book, and then the rest of the trades here, which we'll look at really quick. And then we'll talk about what we're most excited for. Batman and Robin Volume 1, Father and Son. That got the seal of approval from Dama Vex. Blue Beetle Volume 1, which may be coming out also in Spanish, which is cool. Green Lantern War Journal Volume 1, Contagion. Fire and Ice, Welcome to Smallville. Terry Dotson on that cover. Poison Ivy Volume 3, Morning Sickness. What? So I just realized what it was called. That's a spoiler. Batman Detective Comics Volume 3.
If the title wasn't a spoiler, you're definitely looking at the cover. It's just
So
the image.
stinky. Yeah, the cover's a spoiler, isn't it?
I was about to say.
I
The
was
obvious.
waiting. Gotham Nocturne Act 2 and Superman Lost. Batman Wayne Family Adventures Volume 5. Nightwing Year 1 20th Anniversary Deluxe Edition. 100 Bullets Brother Lono Deluxe Edition. Robin Tim Drake Compendium 1. So meaning that there might be more. Cool. Because Kyle Rayner, they took the Volume 1 out of it and just made it a compendium.
Don't you mean compendium? I'm sorry. I
Yeah, I was about to say.
can't.
I loved it when Ron was promoting it at that point, and someone said they misspelled. They said they did what?
To be fair, Marvel has also misspelled things on the spot.
Oh, true. I just loved his reaction.
Well, David had texted me. He's like, somebody sent me a picture of this. Can you believe it? I'm like, yeah, but you guys also misspelled. And he's like, okay, touche.
Whenever I see things unbelievable like that, I really try not to bother Omar with them because I know that he's probably got about 50 people texting him with the same information. But that was one of the examples.
Wow.
That was the one thing that I woke up in the morning and saw that, and I sent that straight to you and just went, "What is this?"
Ron Mars didn't even tell us. He was like, "Oh, what?" Let's see. Absolute Transmetropolitan Volume 1 coming back to print. Batman by Paul Dini Omnibus coming back to print. Batman versus Robin, Batman Detective Comics Volume 1, Gotham Nocturne Overture, and Nocturne Act 1 is coming out. Volume 2, Batman Superman World's Finest Volume 3 Elementary, and Detective Comics 1000 Deluxe Edition, Poison Ivy Volume 2, Nightwing Volume 5, both hardcover and softcover, and Swamp Thing by Nancy A. Collins coming back to print. Now, everybody in the chat and my wonderful guests, what's damn it, I don't know why I'm asking this. Okay, outside of for the guests, anybody in the chat, just be honest, whatever you want. Outside of the DC versus Marvel stuff, what's the other book you're most excited for?
I'll say Brother Lono Deluxe Edition. Now I can finally have a complete 100 bullets in oversized format.
Until the next event.
That's fine. I'll be dumb and rebuy Volume 2 when they
rebranding. Lobo,
I will say this: if we're going to have the DC versus Marvel at that point, I want DC to start collecting an omnibus format Elseworlds. Let's go all the way back and start collecting these Elseworlds in.
That would be awesome. That would be really, really.
They've got
cool.
some trades, but they're all disjointed, and
the deluxe editions are super disjointed. I'd be in with you and on that.
Yeah, man. Always been a massive fan of those Elseworlds because you didn't need to know anything really.
Mm-hmm.
They would make beautiful books, kind of like what Marvel's doing with their What Ifs. I would love to see that.
Yeah.
What's the book I'm most excited for? So Chris, you went with Brother Lono, which is a good one, right? I don't know if I'm most excited. I was a little irritated by that one, but that's okay.
Oh, I'm not lying either. I was just
once I get over the irritation, I think I'll be excited. I am excited. I'm an idiot. I'll get it. What about you, Dom? One book that's not DC versus Marvel.
I am really happy that Swampy by Nancy Collins is coming back to print, and I missed out on it the first time, and I will be sure to not miss it out on the second time.
Okay. Omnibo, what about you, buddy?
Definitely Superman Lost for me. But I do have a question because I'm not so up to date with the DC. The you know how we've got the Super Sons Ultra Dultra like Cooper Deluxe Edition Omnibus. I saw recently they had the Sons of
Sinestro
Zod
Kid?
and Sinestro, and I really want to read that. Has that been a solid run, or has that not been great?
It's too early, and we just had 2 issues of it so far.
I've only read issue 1.
I love the children. Oh,
and also the backups with the brand new character Tom King created in Wonder Woman, the Super Sons, are also in those. So those will probably also be included in a further continuing, massively expanded omnibus collection of Super Sons.
Why are you bringing that into the universe? Peter Tomasi didn't write those, though, did he?
Why does he have to write them?
Because it's by Peter Tomasi, doesn't it?
I don't think it says by. No,
Usually
it's just,
it does.
No. It has his name on it, but I don't think that's like what the book is called.
I've got the expanded. It just has his name, but it doesn't call him out as by.
Yep.
Okay. Man, if they remove his name, he's going to go off.
No.
Super duper. It's a big.
Yeah,
big
that's
noise.
the super duper one. So Dom, you went with the
Nancy Collins. Swampy.
Nancy Collins. It's a good choice. It's a good book. And Omnibo went with Superman Lost. I'm excited to read Poison Ivy, but Batman and Robin's getting my vote. Poison Ivy for a continuing series. Batman and Robin, I'm excited to read. Just looks good. I really like Simone Di Meo's
Dude,
art.
the art in there is killer. The spread pages. Oh my gosh.
I've been very impressed with the story. The story keeps on getting me hooked, you know, with what they're I mean, it's very big focus on Damien, but the backstory that they're trying to weave into with this mystery he's trying to unravel is intriguing.
It is.
And I'm gonna get to the chat to see what they're excited for.
I just still want to figure out if that solicitation for the new one is right, or if it actually is 1 through 4 and the annual, because that needs to be cleared up at some point.
Scooby-Doo, was that here? It was not. Poison Ivy, most excited for the Tim Drake compendium and Nightwing Year 1. Unironically, Poison Ivy. I'm excited to read Volume 3. Not even gonna lie. Batman and Robin Adventures. That's not in this solicit, Josh. Do you even listen or watch Nightwing Year 1 Deluxe Edition since I missed it in 2020? Poison Ivy. The Swamp Thing Omnibus. It's good. Seriously, it is so good. I liked it. I did an overview of it, I guess, 4 years ago. And I got the Nancy Collins seal of approval. She commented on my video. She's so sweet. I actually have all the DC versus Marvel Omni contents and individual issues, including the Treasury editions.
God bless you.
Yeah.
Marvel DC twice for me. Superman Lost. All the Ron B Detective. Love a slow burn. I like hearing that. I'm excited for the Tim Drake compendium. DC versus Marvel. Nightwing Year 1. Brother Lono. Omar did answer Poison Ivy as the ongoing. Amalgam Omnis and or are Elseworlds, right? Okay, yeah.
All right,
Kenny, I know you're
got me
excited
there.
for that Superman, right? You're excited for that Superman, Kenny. Brother Lono for sure, even though they ripped us off by not including him. True. Nightwing Year 1, Poison Ivy, since Bar was right. Bar was right one time in her life. I will agree with that. Toss up between Poison Ivy and World. So much love for Poison Ivy. I'm really impressed. Ambush Bug, Complete Collection, and Atari Force are not in this catalog. What? So Tomasi is writing the Sinister Son.
Yes, it's a 6-issue series, and it will cap off because he is now over at Image.
Superman Lost. Okay, here's my buddy Phil. Yes, Omar, the crossover volume is a day one for me. Won't be buying the Amalgam one. Okay, I was making sure. I didn't know if you dug the original or not, but I kind of thought you did. Swamp Thing, Night Year Volume 1. I still have my original copy of Superman, Spider-Man, bought off the stands in 1976. Is Batman and Robin good? It got the Dom of X seal of approval.
He'll like it. I think you would.
I don't know. I mean, I've gotten to know Dom here in the last couple months. I don't know if he's got good taste or not. What's your favorite X-Men story, Dom?
Objectively or subjectively?
I don't know what the hell that even means.
I was about to say, isn't it? If it's your opinion, it's
Well,
gotta be. It's gonna be.
Sir, I'm asking you what your favorite X-Men story is.
It's either God Loves Man Kills or Days of Future Past for me.
Okay, he's got good taste. We're good. He passed the test.
Wrong. It's X-Man.
This is why I don't ask Omnibo for his opinion. He came in strong with that. I love Ben Riley. And then he throws Nate Gray in there. Oh man, I love you 90s kids. You guys are the best.
Soon he'll say Fatal Attractions is the best X-Men story ever.
Swamp Thing. Well, I mean, in 10 years' time, there's going to be people, Dom's age, that are like, oh my God, have you guys read the Krakoa era? That stuff is so good.
That's going to be me in like 10, 20 years because that's what I bought in singles. That's what I grew up with.
God Loves Man Kills is terrible and overrated. Josh got to one panel and said, that's way too many words for me. I'm going to go back and read manga. Onslaught. Onslaught, really? Hell, Warren, no, I don't believe that. Just wait for the 2000 kids. Ultimate X-Men is the best. I'm already seeing that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm serious. I'm already seeing that. When I make announcements of these Ultimate Spider-Man, Ultimate X-Men, people are excited. And then people are like, where the hell is Ultimatum and Ultimates 3? And in my head, I'm like, deep in at the very bottom of hell where it belongs. Like, that looks people want that, and I guess it's got good artwork by David Finch.
You know it's gonna happen because if they're collecting all of Ultimate X-Men, it's gotta sneak its way in there.
Gonna happen. I'm just like, it's crazy how much time changes things, right? Because I remember when I was reading that stuff, everybody at the comic book store was like, "This is god awful."
Did your cousin write this?
Like, you keep saying about against Slot Spidey, Omar.
When it first came out, I was so against it. And it's like trying to battle a tidal wave. You just couldn't ignore it after a while. And it was great.
It is interesting how much time just changes people's opinions of things. So whenever I see people commenting on like Zeb Wells Spider-Man being the worst Spider-Man ever, it's kind of
it's not.
Been there, done that type of scenario with me. That I remember when people were saying that about David Michelinie or Dan Slott or Nick
Spencer.
Yeah, it just in about 5-10 years time, that's when you really find out how people will remember the run. So
my biggest beef with Zeb Wells is what he's did to my poor boy Ben Riley. I'm sorry.
Are you a fan of Ben Riley too?
I
think you're like the only one in this panel that's a fan
Chris,
of
boy.
One More Day got a gallery edition.
Oh, dude, we don't even on Marvel Alliance, my co-host Brent and I, we call that the story that shall not be named.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh my god, like
we do not refer to that story.
Yeah, I think for as bad as that was, I still think Sins Past was even worse.
Fair. Yeah, but you're right. Yeah, I'll agree.
That's just my opinion. I know people hate, and I get it. I hate it too. I don't like One More Day, but Sins Past was a smack to the face. Like, and I don't even like the original idea. Like, Jeff JMS was like, "Well, this isn't my idea. This is my original." I didn't even like that. I'm like, no, you leave Gwen alone. There's things you don't touch in Spider-Man lore. Gwen Stacy's one of them.
But at least they retconned that recently.
Yeah, Spencer did that.
Yeah. They
did.
A
more confusing diatribe of.
Well, it made me feel bad.
It's Spider-Man. Why wouldn't it be confusing?
I never wanted to think badly about Gwen. Now I don't have to because it didn't actually happen.
Can't wait for the Sins Past Gallery Edition.
It's gonna happen.
We got NYX as a Gallery Edition, so why not?
It's gonna happen. They'll throw in Amazing Spider-Man 49 by Nick Spencer in with too. So
Jameis is the most overrated Spider-Man writer. Couldn't stand that run. Really?
Oh wow.
Dude, I love this run. Wait, no, I love this run outside of the things that happened later on.
Outside of the two
really like this run.
Yeah. To me, there's nothing better than a dark Spider-Man story, and that was one of the dark ones. I loved it.
God, just when he's beating the living snot out of Kingpin and just saying, "Oh man, I love when Peter just goes off the reservation." Story? Yeah, I love it when he goes off the reservation like that.
Oh yeah. Have you read recently in the comics when he had the goblin stuff in him? I won't spoil it for anybody, but
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
That was dark. Oh man, that was fantastic.
that's
Oh,
something. That's something I did like about Zeb.
There we go,
That's
Vulcan.
one,
That's
yeah.
right. Represent your generation, buddy. 2000s
Yes.
kid here. Ultimate Spider-Man is the best.
Uh,
That hurt my soul a little to say, but that's okay. I was just reading it. Slots SM run I loved. Oh, okay. The
There are
whole
some people
thing.
who do love that run, man.
Are they just gallery editioning all the controversial books? Where's my Spider-Man Reign?
We're waiting on trouble there,
remember
Omar.
Spider-Man Reign also was controversial.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
we're getting a sequel to it in
And
a
we're
couple
getting a
months.
sequel. I'm pretty sure
Yeah.
that will come.
We're getting a sequel.
Yes.
We're getting a sequel.
Mhm.
Car Andrews is
Barry
writing and
Andrews
drawing
is doing
again.
it. Yeah.
You're kidding. What's it going to be called? Spider-Man Reign 2?
Spider-Man Reign 2.
Oh,
This time
Wow.
it's for real.
oh,
You get Spider Spunk. You get Spider Spunk. Everybody gets Spider Spunk. Oh man. Only because introduce Miles at the end and he'll be the Spider-Man future kids will see a Spidey. You know, there's a lot of actually I really enjoyed that Bendis Miles Morales omnibus. Well, 3/4 of it, and then he comes in at the end and Bendis is the whole omnibus, but that's okay. People like that. I thought it was good. Like I read that whole omnibus in one day.
the good thing
Spider-Man
about
Reign, the Spider Spunk edition.
the good thing about
One
Ultimate
more-
Spider-Man is that it was consistent with its quality, where other Ultimate books like X-Men and I don't know whatever else they were
Fantastic
great
Four.
at the start.
Fantastic Four. Well,
But,
they kept the same team forever, and I think that's
Mhm.
like it or hate it. That's why it's celebrated for so long.
Yeah,
Trial of Gambit, kill me now. Trial of Gambit is one of my least favorite retcons.
Oh,
Oh,
how about Marvel in Gallery Edition? Why not?
no,
uh,
yeah, that'll sell like hotcakes. That one.
You put the right cover on there, those weird ones will definitely buy it.
True.
those weird ones.
we gotta get Trouble in one of the Bovard. You know the big Marvel what's it called?
The
The
Adamantium
monster
edition.
size ones, the big ones.
Yeah, the super Omega size.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll
Is it the whole
get
Galactus one?
we'll get David Gabriel to publish Trouble in that format, and then we'll send 10 copies
No.
over to you.
No, God, no! Please don't bring that into existence. The best odds comics. My vote is for Brubaker Cap. Oh, there's some good ones.
Yeah.
They're great.
Brubaker.
Oh, I think you're frozen there.
Yeah.
So let's keep the show going, ladies and
Well,
gentlemen.
don't worry. Omar blamed me a couple weeks ago for asking a question that broke the stream, and he'll probably blame me this time.
So what are your guys' favorite 2000s comics? We should answer the.
Oh.
Yeah, that's a good point. You
There's
guys
a lot of
first.
great ones though.
Go,
That's when I
Dom.
started to get back into it.
Ooh,
I'm ignoring
hard-
this answer because everything to me was yesterday. So I don't know where to just.
I think, man, for me, there's so many good ones. Jeff Johns' Green Lantern, I think, would probably have to be because that was my gateway into getting into comics. My
Yeah,
uncle gave me an issue of the Sinestro Corps War, and I did not stop loving it after that. So
It's very hard to disagree with you there, mate. Yeah, that is an absolutely fantastic. That was the first Green Lantern I read. I read, and I could
absolute
not.
bonkers.
Yeah.
I would say for Marvel's side, it'd be Daredevil.
Ah,
That started me. That was one of the ones that started my love of Daredevil, and it's never stopped. So
that's funny. I never read Daredevil, and then a friend, because I was getting all the omnibuses, so I read them from the start. You know, the
Kevin
Frank
Smith.
Miller all the way.
Oh,
right?
okay. It started with Frank. Okay.
Frank, okay.
Every single omnibus up until today has just been the best things I've ever read.
Since Frank, it has been Frank Miller. He has been the one character that's had the banger after banger creative team.
And
Consistency.
even after Bendis, Brubaker,
Mark Waid.
yeah, all of them are just amazing.
No, I completely agree with that. Got me through some weird, tough times too. Like I was, consolidated in my own house. COVID hit, and I'm just over here reading Bendis Daredevil, and I'm like, man, this is killing me. Like this is gut punching, and I want to read more of it. Where can I get some? It's so weird for a character that like keeps getting broken, but you're like, you want to keep on reading
Yeah.
this person just getting pummeled to a pulp.
And they
It's
talk
so
about
weird.
the Parker luck. Parker luck always having bad luck. How about, Matt Murdock? You
Yeah.
talk about bad luck that guy has.
Yeah.
Oh
and
man.
it's funny because there's always the argument, at least I've heard it a lot, is who is Marvel's Batman? And, there's a few different answers. People say Moon Knight, for example, but it's Daredevil.
Welcome back to the land of the living, Mr.
Thank you all for keeping this going. Because our internet just went down, but it came back up. So I came up here to get my laptop. So I don't know what happened. So thanks for talking.
Absolutely.
Now I can do these things, right?
There you go. Jess will be happy.
But yeah, thank you guys for joining me. I'm gonna go find out what the heck is going on.
You gonna blame me for breaking your internet again, Omar?
Dude, every time I have Chris on. No, it was when you were asking.
That's a good question. Yeah.
Yeah.
Do you mind if I ask? Did you end up getting these?
Yeah, I did. Magnetic Press sent me a copy of them when I interviewed the guys. They were so nice. So I got to do a video of it. I'm so excited to get to read it too.
Yeah, that looks amazing.
Beautiful, beautiful books. So why don't you guys sign off and tell people where they can find you?
You can follow me at Chris Balga on all the socials. 2 shows will find us True Believers and Marvel Alliance. You can follow that on any podcatcher choice by searching for the Geek Ultimate Alliance Network.
Awesome. What about you, Dom? Where can people find you, buddy?
You can find me on Dom of X here on YouTube, also on comicreleases.com, where I do most of the groundwork and laying the foundation as far as updates and solicitations and all that's concerned. And you can also find me here on Near Mint Condition, as I am helping Omar out as much as humanly possible.
Yes, man. He's killing it. He's killing it. And what about you, buddy, from Australia?
Bo from Australia, Aussie Verse. You can find us there on all the social medias, except the ones I don't know how to work, like Snapchat and Reddit. I don't know what they are, but you can find us on TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, especially YouTube. We've been trying to get to at least 1,000 subs, and it's a slow burn. So come on, subscribe, get on the show, watch us, give us tips, give us advice, or just don't and watch it, whatever. But yeah, Aussie Verse.
All right. And I'm Omar, Uncanny, or just Omar right now. A little ticked off the internet. But I will be back tomorrow at 11 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then live on Sunday at 2 p.m. with Torun Grombeck for a birthday chat. So that's it, everybody. Thank you all so much. Thank you to my freaking amazing panel. A couple guys that just came in at the last minute that just wanted to chat. One of them who didn't even hide the fact that he's not the biggest DC guy, but he just wanted to be on. So that's freaking awesome. Everybody have a wonderful evening. I normally do this pre-recorded, but let me know if you enjoyed it live and maybe we can do it that way. I don't know. It's up to you all.
It was an absolute pleasure to meet you, Chris and Dom.
Yes, pleasure.
Absolute pleasure to meet you too, man.
You all take care and have a wonderful, wonderful Friday night or Saturday morning.